Hey everybody, welcome back to Creolekisses Diary TV, coming back at you guys with another hot topic. Hope you're having a great morning. Let's get straight to the news. So we're going to be talking about Nick Cannon. It looks like Viacom CBS has fired Nick Cannon. They stated that he promoted hateful speech during a recent episode of his Cannon's Class, which is his YouTube podcast. And they're saying that they want an apology for him perpetuating anti-Semitism. So let's go over the definition of anti-Semitism. In case you do not know, the word does mean hostile to or prejudice against Jews. So in the podcast, they're stating that he discussed conspiracy theories about Jewish people, and he praised a minister who is notorious for anti-Jewish comments. They weren't too happy with what he was saying. So we do know that Nick Cannon has worked as an executive producer. He's a chairman of Teen Nick, which is a spinoff of the network Nickelodeon geared toward teenagers. He's also been a host and executive producer of his comedy show Wild 'N Out. And Viacom decided to cut the ties with him. So a spokesperson for Viacom stated that they do support ongoing education and dialogue in the fight against bigotry, but they are deeply troubled that Nick has failed to acknowledge or apologize for perpetuating anti-Semitism, and we are terminating our relationship with him. Nick took to Facebook and Twitter. First, on Twitter, he said, "Anyone who knows me knows that I have no hate in my heart, nor malice intentions. I do not condone hate speech nor the spread of hateful rhetoric. We're living in a time when it is more important than ever to promote unity and understanding." And then he took to Facebook and said he must apologize to his Jewish brothers and sisters for putting them in such a painful position, which was never my intention. Systemic racism is what this world was built on and was the subject in which I was attempting to highlight in the recent clips that have been circulating from my podcast. If I have furthered the hate speech, I wholeheartedly apologize. So he sent out this lengthy statement, and now they're saying he's receiving death threats, hate messages, and he's also received an outpouring of love and support from the Jewish community. So we will no longer be seeing Nick Cannon on television. We know that he has been on television for over 20 years, and now Viacom has ended that. So what are your thoughts on this? I think Viacom is just overreacting. Viacom is not looking too good. Masika Kalisha took to Twitter and said, "Nick Cannon, now you see what I was talking about. Y'all know Viacom CBS blackballed me as well." And she goes on to describe how she refused to do certain things that Viacom wanted her to do, so they just deleted her altogether. I'm going to go ahead and play the podcast, some of it, for you guys to hear, so you can get an understanding of what Viacom is talking about. Okay, and I'll be right back.
In that connection,
Right.
so the people that don't have it are a little, and I'm gonna say this carefully, are a little less, and where the term actually comes from, because I'm bringing it all the way back around to Minister Farrakhan, to where they may not have the compassion or the when they were sent to the mountains of Caucasus, when they didn't have the power of the sun, that the sun then started to deteriorate them. So then they're acting out of fear, they're acting out of low self-esteem, they're acting out of a deficiency. So therefore, the only way that they can act is evil. The only way they have to rob, steal, rape, kill, and
Fight or flight, okay.
in order to survive.
Exactly.
So then these people who didn't have what we had.
So Nick Cannon, he expressed his feelings in his podcast, and Viacom didn't like what he said. I noticed that he did mention Farrakhan, and you know, when you mention that name, he's not very liked by the white community. So in my opinion, I think that Nick is entitled to his. There are other people in the world that say what they want to say, including your president. and they get away with it. So we're all individuals and we should all have our opinions. I do not think that he is a racist. I don't feel that that is what he was trying to say. It seems like when we do have things to say and we do speak facts, it's not very liked. It's not respected. That's even in the workplace. Me being a minority, when I speak up and say something, there are people that get intimidated by that. So Viacom was most likely intimidated by what he said. They apparently took what he was saying wrong, and they wanted to make him look bad by firing him and making an example out of him. He said that he's deeply saddened in the moment so close to reconciliation that powers that be misused an important moment for us all to grow close together and learn more about one another. Instead, I feel bullied, silenced, or continuously oppressed by organizations, groups, or corporations, and I will not stand for it. Nick Cannon, in closing, said, I am the one making demands. I demand full ownership of my billion-dollar Wild 'N Out brand that I created, and they will continue to misuse and destroy without my leadership. I demand that the hate and backdoor bullying cease, and while we are at it, now that the truth is out, I demand the apology. So what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that they're actually going to grant him ownership of Wild 'N Out? Honestly, I feel like if they do, they're going to give him a hard time. He's definitely going to have to lawyer up in this situation. Sorry to hear that he was fired from his famous TV shows, but I know that with all his talents and his companies and so forth, he'll be fine. So go ahead and leave your thoughts at the bottom, you guys. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to it, and share it to others. That way they know about your girl. And sign up to my Instagram where I post news every single day at Creolekisses Diary TV. Stay positive out there, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye.
Yeah, man, you already know what it is. All money in, no money out. Creolekisses, man. Shout out to Creolekisses Diary.